Yo, what's good, YouTube? I'm back with another reaction video, and we got Rare Larry Bird stories never before heard. Now let's see what this is. Never before heard, man. That's a good old legend Larry Bird, man. Anyway, shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate all love and support, man. Really deeply appreciate everybody that support me and in my circle. Subscribe if you're new, hit that like button, turn on that bell. We uploading every single day non-stop, man. We've been going on for about 3 months straight now, maybe 3 or 4 months straight. But yeah, man, let's get straight into the video, man. Instrumental mixtape is dropping June 23rd. We dropping on this channel, so yeah, definitely check it out. But yeah, you know I keep it short and sweet, so let's get straight into the video, man.
The Cedric Maxwell podcast is brought to you by FanDuel.
Oh, this is Cedric Maxwell, okay.
The exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
In those days, I mean, it was really covering a beat was immersion. I mean, we were like with them all the time. So, you know, commercial air travel and hotels, buses. It was like being on the team, except for the fame and the groupies and the money. We were like on the team. To sell those seats, they hadn't figured it out yet. And the lowly media sat right next to the bench. And we were right on the floor where the stat crew is between the benches, and you heard a lot, and we were on it. So there was none of that, and he was fun back there. All this fun comes out, and I have a lot with him. Just stuff in bars, on the bus, in the hotel. He liked to break chops. He noticed everything. You know, he called me Scoop. You know, I wasn't particularly trustworthy, or they weren't ever that comfortable around me. Like, I'd come into the locker room and Larry'd say, Scoop, do you notice how quiet it gets when you walk in here? You know, like, yeah, I can live with that. But he was like, noticed everything. Like, you know, when you go to school, certain guys are agitators or instigators or gossips. He was like one of those guys. And I remember we were in Portland, and it was a forward from North Carolina State, I think, with Kenny Carr, and you know, he coned me with a pass during the warm-ups. I was down, the head down, typing, and errant pass got away.
Damn, Kevin Love, this guy smacked.
Down, the head down, typing, and errant pass got away, and blasted me in the head. My glasses broke when flying off, and Kenny Carr came over to Polly, and Bird's at the other end. He noticed everything. He saw that. He couldn't wait to hunt me down in the bar that night back at the hotel. He got like 47 against the Trailblazers, but all he cared about was getting in my face. He said, Scoop, I saw that. You were pissed. He says, your glasses went flying, and the whole thing. You know how he could get. So it was that kind of like back and forth stuff. And so I just, I made every effort with Larry. I have his cell phone. He's turned off the faucets, and this should be obvious to you guys, but I guess if you pay him and you do a commercial or something, he appears. I'm glad, because I was worried about his health. I know he became...
Damn, I wonder where that interview is. I gotta find that one. I don't know how I'm gonna find it, but I'm gonna start searching for some of his interviews also, man. Some of his stuff, because I really liking his interviews. But yeah, let's get it.
He's a granddad, and he's Social Security eligible, and you know, he's got a no-show job at the Pacers now, but most of the time in Florida. We see him at a spring training. He likes the baseball. He comes over to Fort Myers every now and then, and you know, Indiana. But the kids are grown. I think his daughter works for the Pacers, just like I said, shut off the faucets. Max couldn't get him to help him with his book. I mean, I would take that personally if I played with him for 9 years, whatever, and won 2 championships. I mean, yeah, that's really shutting off the faucets. And I know that like Bob, Ryan, and Jackie, you know, they both did biographies with Larry. They would stay at his house. They were in the inner circle, and he's not returning their calls either. So I didn't take it personally. He wasn't calling me back, but it helped a lot. He did not warm up to strangers well. I understood that. You know, he's shy, and he didn't like thinking people were trying to buy him or everybody needing something from him, and pushed back on that. Didn't, you know, he wouldn't have been a social media guy if he were playing today. You know, he didn't like having his picture taken. He hated it at the airport when he was kind of found a quiet corner, and some jackass would go by and say, hey, there's Larry Bird. And then all of a sudden people around him and want autographs, and like, he just wanted his privacy. He used to go to the movies in the afternoon, Chestnut Hill. I'd see him over there. And, you know, of course, we're like, how come you go to the movie? Well, number one, it was in the afternoon. There was nobody in the theater, so he could hide out. He had a hat on. And number two, it was cheaper. Matinees were cheaper, which for Larry, that meant a lot. I actually had a road rage incident with him. I was driving by Fenway Park, because, you know, he lived in Brookline, down at the end of Route 9 and back there where Hellenic College was. And I was getting near Fenway. I'm coming in on Park Drive, turning onto Boylston Street, and this giant Cadillac is being a real dick the way this car is driving. It was almost as if the car was trying to provoke me. I was flaring. And, all of a sudden I roar up against this guy and I look over and it's him. He picked me out. He saw me. So he was messing with me in traffic. He loved that he got under my skin unknowing that it was him. I mean, that's stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Used to happen. Well, the Celtics had a guy named Rick Roby who was he's from Kentucky. He was 6'11" listed, but Larry called him footer because he said, you're a footer, you're a 7-footer. And, Larry had a long history with this guy because Joe B. Hall had recruited him to Kentucky. Larry wanted to play at Kentucky when he was in high school. Where he lives, Kentucky was kind of the blue chip program along with Indiana to the north. And Joe B. Hall thought he couldn't get a shot off in the SEC, and they brought in Rick Roby, who was slower, but he was 7 feet. And they won a national championship with Roby. And so they ended up with the Celtics together. And Roby's, to this day, still a good old boy, drinking buddy, Kentucky. Ended up moving to Florida, of course, and his son played football for the Gators. But Roby ran with Larry. They were like-minded guys. And, of course, Roby was only playing like 8 minutes a night, and Larry had to get out there. And so Larry was the one paying the price for this lifestyle that they had on the road. And Red traded Roby for Dennis Johnson. He got a Hall of Fame guard because Phoenix they gave up on this guy way too early. The coach didn't like him, and Red sees that opportunity. He needed a physical guard. He gets a Hall of Fame guard who's coming into the prime of his career for Rick Roby, who played, another year or two, never did anything. Good guy. But it wasn't just the basketball. Part of it was to get Roby the hell out of town. And Larry was MVP the next 3 years. It was not a coincidence. It was a dual effect trade, bringing in an all-star guard and getting rid of the guy who was keeping Larry out at night. So that was part of it. Max will tell you, Max had the routine. There was the McDonald's across the street. I don't know if it's still there on Causeway, but there was. And, so he'd send Francis O'Brien could tell you this, the ball boy is still there. He's 70 years old. They'd go get bags of hamburgers, and Max would eat a bag of hamburgers before the game. And, we wrote about that, and I, Larry's like, don't be writing about that. People think, we don't take care of ourselves. He says, that's the worst part of this job, he says, is staying in shape and, conditioning and diet and all that. He says, I'll tell you, he says, when I'm done playing, I'll be the fattest fuck you ever saw. He says, because I have no intention of staying with this regimen. He said, it's too hard. And he said, I'm just as bad as Max or anybody else. And then the one year he hurt his back, and this was a little later, and he was away from the thing for a couple of weeks, and he gained, he said, I gained like 7-10 pounds while I was shut down for those 2 weeks. He said, I was eating wedding cakes every day. Why would you do that? He goes, who'd fuck up a wedding cake? They're good. It was the thing. So that was, his mentality was, a wedding cake is by definition going to be.
Yo, he's funny, bro. Yo, Larry is a beast, man. Larry is a beast.
Be good cake. So he ate only wedding cakes while he was on the shelf and gained all this weight. So yeah, he was funny talking about that. But, a guy like Robert Parrish never gained any weight.
Nobody runs a fast break better than the Boston Celtics. One of the reasons Tiny Archibald, one of his 5 assists in the game, is
he's run the floor. He still looks like that. He's 68 years old, and just stayed with that body. The whole Jerry Henderson was like that. I mean, I don't mean to say that guys were fat and sloppy and out of shape. You can't play the sport, as you know, to do that. But it was not quite the regimen that you have today. No, it never goes that way.
The Cedric Maxwell Podcast is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
All right, that was a good one right there, y'all. Yeah, that definitely was a good one. I enjoyed that one, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that too, man. I definitely enjoyed that one. But yeah, man, y'all not keep it short and sweet. I'm on to the next video, man. If y'all got some videos you want me to do, leave them in the comments. I definitely will do them. But yeah, that's about it though, man. Instrumental mixtape is dropping June 23rd, so look out for that. Definitely got some more videos dropping, so keep on looking. The uploading keeps going non-stop, man. But for now, I'm out of this joint, man. I love y'all. Deeply, deeply appreciate everybody that support me, man. I'm out of this joint. On to the next video. Peace.